Hello friends, today we will learn the important concept of this chapter. Actually on this concept, the trigonometry of 11th and 12th is based. So we will see the main concept of trigonometry. Till 10th we learn uh, trigonometric ratios as for the acute triangle, for acute angles only. Just we will begin with that thing only, but here we will not restrict our study for acute angles only, but we will just expand it to the any angle of a triangle. Okay, but first we will begin with the trigonometric ratios for acute angles. In fact, we are going to use the same concept for generalizing the trigonometric functions for any angle. So we will just begin with the trigonometric ratios as a for an acute angle. Okay. So for that I will just draw a right angle triangle. Let I have triangle ABC, which is making 90 degree or right angle at vertex B. So in this case, it will be hypotenuse always. Okay, hypotenuse side, the side opposite to the right angle. Now, for ratios we are using adjacent and opposite sides. It will depend on the angle which we are considering. If we are considering this angle as a theta, that means BCA is equals to theta, then in this case AB will be the opposite side, and this BC will be adjacent side. Now we will begin our study with ratios with whatever we have learned in 10th only. So in 10th, in right angle triangle, sin theta was defined as sin theta, theta is here, that is opposite side upon hypotenuse. So opposite side upon hypotenuse. Here opposite side for theta is AB upon hypotenuse, that is AC, and reciprocal of sin theta is cosec theta. So we write like this: cosec theta is equals to, yes, it's a reciprocal of sin theta, so it will be hypotenuse upon opposite side. And that is nothing but AC by AB, or you can write 1 upon sin theta. Same way, cos theta. For cos theta, it's a ratio of adjacent side and hypotenuse. So adjacent side upon hypotenuse. Here, adjacent side is BC, hypotenuse AC. Reciprocal of cos theta is sec theta. Yeah, it's a reciprocal, so hypotenuse upon adjacent side, that is AC upon BC, and it is reciprocal of cos. Okay. Same way, tan theta, opposite upon adjacent, so opposite side upon adjacent side. Opposite, that is the AB, adjacent, that is the BC, and reciprocal of tan is cot. Cot theta is equals to adjacent upon opposite side, that is here in this case BC upon AB, and it's a reciprocal of tan. Yeah, this thing, from this we can also write sin theta into cosec theta is equals to 1, cos theta into sec theta is equals to 1, tan theta into cot theta is equals to 1. Yeah, multiplication of reciprocal quantity is always equals to 1. And we also learn three identities, that is sin square theta. I am writing down whatever we have learned till 10, that is only. And we are going to use this concept, we are going to use this concept, and we will go further and we will generalize the trigonometric functions for any angle. So sin square theta plus cos square theta is equals to 1, and extension of this identity also, that is variations, you can say sin square theta is equals to 1 minus cos square theta, or cos square theta is equals to 1 minus sin square theta. Similarly, we also learned 1 plus tan square theta is equals to sec square theta, और इसके दूसरे फॉर्म्स, अल्टरनेटिव फॉर्म्स, we can also write sec square theta minus tan square theta is equals to 1, or you can also write tan square theta is equals to sec square theta minus 1. Yeah, these are the forms, and so alternative forms, variations of this basic identities we are also using, and we should keep all these things into the minds. And last one was 1 plus cot square theta is equals to cos x square theta, and its other forms, that is cos x square theta minus cot square theta is equals to 1, or cot square theta is equals to cos x square theta minus 1. These are the just only other forms of basic identity. This all things we learned in 10th standard. I have just revised that thing. Just look at all these things. We will use these basic things only, but we will extend it for any angle. That is our objective of 11th, 12th trigonometry. So just I will move from here. For general, we will learn trigonometric function in a generalized form. Generalized form, that means there is no restriction for an angle. That is called a generalized form. Okay. Yes, student. Here I also elaborate on the term functions. Actually, we have a separate chapter for this function, relation and function. We have a second chapter in which we will learn relation and function. But here I am just giving a little bit idea of function. What is the meaning of functions? Function is nothing. Actually, maths. Maths is nothing but it is having many relations, or maybe among numbers of many formulas there are. So, and formulas are generally represented by equality. So it is here. Function is nothing but it's a general term. When we apply given when we use given equation or a principle in a general way, in a mathematical form, then it becomes a function. That we will see. Here also we are going to learn trigonometric ratio in a general way. So that's why it is named as a trigonometric function. It is valid for any value of x, or any value, any real value, that we will see. So for learning trigonometric function in a general way or in a generalized fashion, we will learn trigonometric functions from a unit circle. You are already aware of the unit circle, because in the definition of, or while learning the angle in terms of radian, we learn about the unit circle. The unit circle, the circle which has a unit radius, is called a unit circle. Here we will consider a unit circle which is having origin as the center. So here, for learning trigonometric function in a general fashion, we learn all these trigonometric functions from, or we will derive all these trigonometric functions from a unit circle. And as I already cleared, what is the meaning of function? Function, that means the principle or statement which is applicable in a general way is called a function. So here we are beginning our studies for trigonometric in a general way, in a generalized fashion. That's why we are just naming it as a trigonometric function. Yeah, about function relevance relations, we will get more information chapter 2 while learning that chapter. But right now, for timing, I'm just making it clear. So, what is the functions? Okay. For now, we'll come back to our topic. So that is trigonometric functions. For learning trigonometric functions, we will learn trigonometric functions from a unit circle. Here, we will learn all these trigonometric ratios or functions from unit circle having center at the origin. That we will begin or we will learn all these trigonometric functions from this circle. So I am drawing here a circle with origin as a center, and we are considering a unit circle. So unit circle's radius is equals to 1. Here OX represents the positive x-axis, OX dash represents negative x-axis, OY represents positive y-axis, OY dash represents negative y-axis. Okay, now again this unit circle intersects x and y-axis. So we are naming it, let me say it's point A, it's point B, it's a C, and it's a D. Okay, now we also have its center at origin, radius of 1 unit, so we can have the coordinates of A, B, C and D. Yeah, the coordinate of A will be 1, 0 because the characteristic of any point on the x-axis is that its y coordinate is 0. So here this point A is on the x-axis, so its y coordinate is 0 and it is at a distance of 1 unit from the origin on the positive x-axis, so it's a 1, 0. Similarly, B is on the point is the point on the y-axis, and the characteristic of any point on the y-axis is that its x coordinate is always 0, so it will have a 0. And also, if OA is the radius of a circle, then obviously OB is also radius of a circle. If it is a 1 unit, then it is also 1 unit. So the coordinate of point B will become 0, 1. Similarly, C is on the x-axis but on the negative side, so its coordinate will be -1 and 0. D is on a y-axis, so its coordinate will be 0, minus, because all these are at a distance 1 from a origin. So these are the coordinates of a points. Okay. Now here we want to learn a trigonometric function in a generalized fashion. So let I am considering, let PAB be a point on unit circle. Here on unit circle, I am just having one point P whose coordinates are A and B. Okay. Now I am connecting this point with origin. So here we have actually an angle AOP. And one more thing I want to clear here that if nothing is mentioned, then we generally take the positive direction of x-axis as a reference axis or a reference arrow. If nothing is mentioned, then we should consider this positive direction of x-axis as a reference, and whatever angle is we mentioned, it is with respect to positive x-axis direction. So here, let this angle be x radian. Okay, so here, it's a rotation only. Let angle AOP is equals to x. If you are adding x, then there is no problem. If nothing is, no symbol is attached with this, then we will consider it as a radian. If it is in a degree, then we should mention like this x degree. But here, angle AOP is equals to x, or you can write x radian, no problem. Both will do. If you are not writing radian, then it is assumed that it's a radian always. And if you are writing radian, then there is no problem. Okay. So angle, let AOP is equals to x. Now, since it is a unit circle, so radius is equals to r is equals to 1. So here we will use a formula, theta is equals to L by r. Here L, that means here it will be AP, that is arc length AP. Okay, so L, r is equals to what here? 1 unit. So for unit circle it will be always theta is equals to L. So L is equals to theta. So here this subtended angle is x radian. So this arc length will be x unit. It will depend on this unit. If it is 1 centimeter, then it's a x centimeter. If it is 1 meter, then it's a x meter. It is 1 kilometer, then it's a x kilo. The unit of this arc length will be the unit of the radius of the circle. So we can write like this. For unit circle, we can theta is equals to, if it is a x, then it will be a x. Okay. Now here what I am doing, here OA is the radius of the circle. So OP will be also the radius of a circle, and it's a unit circle, so radius is equals to 1. So OA is equals to 1. So OP will be also equals to 1. So we can take 1. Now what I am doing here, I am drawing a perpendicular from P to on x-axis. Let I am drawing PM perpendicular to x-axis. Okay, in the same way I am drawing perpendicular, draw P and perpendicular on y-axis from point P. Okay, now we know that if the point has two coordinates A and B, that is x, A will be x coordinate and B will be y coordinate. So if I am drawing a perpendicular from P to on x-axis, then this distance will indicate the x coordinate of a point. Here the x coordinate of P is A, so OM will be A. Similarly, it's a ON. It will represent the y coordinate of a point, and we have drawn from point P on a y-axis perpendicular. So its y coordinate is B. So ON is equals to B. But ON and PM, MP are same. So if it is B, then it's also B. So we can write ON is equals to PM is equals to B. Okay. Now we are correlating all these terms. How? Let me tell you. From figure, in right angle triangle, yes, here OMP will be a right angle triangle. OMP, yes, it's an angle x cos x. Cos x, that means is equals to adjacent upon hypotenuse. So adjacent is OM and hypotenuse is OP. OM is nothing but A. Hypotenuse OP is equals to 1 unit. So we can write A is equals to cos x and sin x is equals to opposite upon hypotenuse. So here from figure, PM upon OP. PM is nothing but a B. OP is equals to 1. Therefore we can write B is equals to sin x. Okay. Also, if we apply Pythagoras, triangle OMP. Then what can we write? OM square plus PM square is equals to OP square. Now what we have, OM is equals to A, so A square plus PM is equals to B square, and OP is equals to 1, so it's 1 square. Okay, so 1 square is equals to 1, and also what we have derived, A is equals to cos x and B is equals to sin x, so we can also have cos square x plus sin square x is equals to 1, which is an identity. What do you mean by identity? Identity, that means which is true for all values, which is called identity. Actually, identity is a kind of equation. Now, what is the difference between equation and identity? Equation is true for some particular values of a variable which will satisfy the equation, whereas identity is an equation only, but it is true for all values of variable in which it is defined or it is expressed. This sin square x plus cos square x is equals to 1. This equation is expressed in the variable in the terms of x, and it is always true because it's an identity, so it's all values, for all values of x it is true. So from this discussion what we can say here, and one more thing is that here we have got A is equals to cos x, B is equals to sin x. Now we can represent PAB is equals to P of cos x and sin x, because yes, from this discussion we can say A is equals to cos x and B is equals to sin x, so we can replace in terms of A, we can replace A by a cos x and B by a sin x. Okay, and this cos x and sin x are such that, and for this point this identity is also always true. So and we can prove for any point on the circle both of these conditions. That means its x coordinate will be the cos of angle sustained by that by that point at the center of cos of the angle sustained by this point, that point at the center, and its y coordinate is the sine of the angle subtended by that angle at the center. Here, just I am explaining just in a simple way. The angle subtended by a point P at the center of the triangle is x radian. So here its x coordinate will be what? So cos x. So cos of the angle subtended by this point at the center, and its y coordinate will be what? That is a sine. That means nothing but sine of the angle subtended by that angle at the center. Still, and by defining this thing, x and y coordinate as a sin x, cos x and sin x, also these coordinates are satisfying this identity also, and it is true for any point on the unit circle. That means if we take some other point, that I am just drawing another figure. Here, if I am taking, I am drawing another figure. Yes, that's the origin x, x dash, y, y dash. Let I am taking another point, let us Q. Okay, and I am joining this Q with the origin, and let this rotation be an alpha. Here we have considered x, let this rotation be a alpha. So for this, if this rotation is alpha with respect to positive x axis direction, then we can write the coordinate of a Q as a x coordinate will be cos alpha and y coordinate will be sin alpha. Let us say we are just taking another point R here. Let it is, I am just connecting this point R with the origin. Let this rotation, and we know that it's a unit circle. Okay, So if this rotation is alpha, then it is also, arc length is also alpha. Same way, let I am taking point R, let this rotation be a beta. So obviously, yes, this arc length will be of beta unit. Okay, and coordinate of R will be what? It will be cos alpha, sorry, cos beta, because angle subtended is beta only, sin beta. I am writing here, if this angle is alpha, then this arc length is alpha. We can derive from this thing. I have shown you here. In unit circle, theta is always equals to R, that is a L, that is the arc length, and we are considering only a unit circle. Here we have taken point P here, which is subtending an angle of x at the center. In this case, we have taken a point Q, which is subtending an angle of alpha at the center. So this arc length is also of alpha because it's a unit circle, and in unit circle, theta is equals to always L, that is the arc length. Okay, and the coordinates of Q will be given by, because this angle subtended is alpha, so cos alpha and sin alpha. Same way, I am just considering any other point R, and I am just joining this R point with a origin, and I let this angle B, subtended angle at the center by this point B, a beta. So obviously this arc length will be a beta, and the coordinate of point R will be what? So cos beta and sin beta. So here this angle is between 0 and 90, so it's a acute angle. Here both this angle, alpha is more than 90 and thus beta is more than 180. So, and we are having coordinate as a cos alpha and sin alpha. So we can define cos and sin for any values of an angle. So that means for any real value of angle. Here it was for a acute angle. Similarly here we can define for a obtuse, that is more than 90, more than 180, we can for any angle, even more than 360 also, because after making one complete revolution, if we go further, then we can have a angle more than 360 or 2 pi radians or whatever may be in anti-clockwise direction. And same way we can have also a sine and cosine of a negative value if we go clockwise direction. Okay, so here my intention was in a general term. Now we can define, now we can have a cos and sine of any, for any angle which is greater than, which is not always necessary that it should be an acute one, but it can be often any angle, acute or obtuse or more than 360, whatever may be. We have all for all these values of angles, we can have cos and sine values. Okay, because this point on a circle. So I am just making a note after explaining this thing. Any point on a unit circle will represent a trigonometric function, that is cos and sine. That means the x coordinate of the point on a unit circle is nothing but it is the cos value of an angle subtended by that point at the center of the circle, and its y coordinate is nothing but the sine value of the angle subtended by that point at the circle. Now this angle subtended at the center it is not only acute. Yeah, here in this case P is subtending an acute angle, but in this case is Q and R, they are more than 90 degrees, that means it's an obtuse angle, and for that also we are getting cos and sine values. So it's we have learned cos and sine function in general terms. Okay, just have a look at this, just write down this quickly. I am making one note here, and all these points, any point on this unit circle is called actually trigonometric point, because its coordinates are representing trigonometric function cos and sine. That's why these points are also called a trigonometric function. Okay, trigonometric point on the unit circle. Okay, so we have learned the trigonometric ratios or trigonometric functions in general term from the unit circle. Now you will have to remember this figure, and you must have imagination in your mind of this figure whenever it comes for a trigonometric functions, because we will have to use it in a many ways, and we will derive many things from this figure also. Okay, now we will move ahead. Yes, I am writing down a note. Yes, any point on unit circle is called trigonometric point, and its x coordinate represents the cosine of the angle subtended by that point at the center of the circle, and its y coordinate represents the sine of the angle subtended by that point at the center of the circle. So it's in a general way, and this angle, any point on the circle can extend any real value numbered angle. Okay, so we can have sine and cos for any angle of a real value. Okay, now still we have many more things we will have to learn from unit circles. So I am just drawing a unit circle again, and while drawing a unit circle, the points I am marking every time, you should remember that thing and you should observe that thing also. Here it's a unit circle, its center, unit circle radius 1, your positive axis, negative, positive y, negative y. These are point A, B, C, D. Yes, coordinate of A is 1, 0, B is 0, 1, C is minus 1, 0, D is equals to 0, minus 1. Now we know that the one complete revolution will subtend an angle of 2 pi radian at the center. So from figure we also say that angle AOB, sorry, here AOB, okay, that will be pi by 2. It's a pi by 2 radian. I am not mentioning anything, that means a radian. Angle AOC, that is this angle, it is pi. Angle AOD, that means in anti-clockwise direction, we are just considering AOD is equals to 3 pi by 2 radian, and again one complete revolution will have a 2 pi radian. Okay, now all these angles are integral multiple of pi by 2. That means pi by 2 into 1 is equals to pi, pi by 2 into 2 is equals to pi, pi by 2 into 3 is equals to 3 pi by 2. All these angles are called quadrantal angles. Okay, all above written angles are integral multiples of pi by 2 radian. These angles are called quadrantal angles. That means they are separating the quadrants, first quadrant, second quadrant, third, fourth. It is like this. These are called quadrantal angles, which separates the angles. And one more thing from this, we are knowing values for cos 30, cos 60, cos 45, cos 60, cos 90, cos 0. Okay, now we will move ahead. As I just told you in our introductory lecture also, we are going to expand our horizon. We are going to find all trigonometric values of all trigonometric functions for more than 90 degree or more than pi by 2 radians. We are going to learn all these things, or we are going to explore all these possibilities in 11-12. So here we will begin with that. Here the note, just whatever we have written here, we will make use of that thing. Here, if I just and I also told you that if nothing is mentioned, then we should consider the positive direction of x-axis as a reference. Okay, now here I am just taking an anti-clockwise notation or a rotation. If it is a 0 radian, so angle AOB, it will be pi by 2 radian. So here C, it's a pi and it's a 3 pi by 2 radian, and one complete revolution, it's a 2 pi radian, that we know. Okay, now here for point A, okay, the A is subtending with the positive direction of x angle, it's a subtending angle of 0, and the x coordinate of point A is what? 1, and y coordinate is of what? 0. Now we will read this note. Its x coordinate represents the cosine of the angle subtended by that point at the center of the circle. Here the point A subtends an angle of 0 radian and its x coordinate is 1. That means the angle subtended 0 radian, that is cos 0 is equals to 1. Here also from figure, yes, we will use this, we will make use of this. Not only the x coordinate, any point on the unit circle is called a trigonometric point, and its x coordinate represents nothing but the cosine of the angle subtended by that point at the center of the circle. Here we have drawn a unit circle. We have mentioned the points, intersection point of that unit circle with a coordinate axis, and we have written this. For A it's a 1 0, B 0 1, C minus 1 0, D 0 minus 1. Now I am just taking this point A. So A, and again I am repeating that thing. If nothing is mentioned, then we should generally take the positive direction of x-axis as a reference. So A is on the same line. So the angle made by this OA with OX will be a 0. So angle subtended by A at the center of the circle will be 0 radian. So its x coordinate is cos of the angle subtended by point at the origin. The angle subtended by the point A at the origin is 0. So cos 0 is equals to 1, and its y coordinate represents the sine of the angle subtended by that point at the center of the circle. So here sine 0 is equals to 0. Okay, point A 1 0. I am just making little bit more clear. Point A10, yes, which subtends angle 0 radius at the center, therefore cos 0 is equals to 1. Its x coordinate represents the cos of the angle subtended at the center at that point, and sin 0 is equals to 0. Similarly, yes, second point B 0 1. Okay, now point B 0 1, yes, we are taking OX as the reference. B, I am connecting B with the origin, then this angle subtended is pi by 2. So point B 0 1, which subtends angle pi by 2 radians at the center of the circle, and from our definition, the x coordinate of this point represents the cos of the angle subtended by that point at the center of the circle. Now B ने कितना सबटेंड किया है सेंटर पे, तो कि पाई बाय 2, इसका x कोऑर्डिनेट कितना है 0, तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा cos पाई बाय 2 इज इक्वल टू 0 एंड sin पाई बाय 2 वो इसका रिप्रेजेंट करेगा y कोऑर्डिनेट दैट इज इक्वल टू 1. सो cos पाई बाय 2 इज इक्वल टू 0 एंड sin पाई बाय 2 इज इक्वल टू 0. अगेन यहाँ पे थर्ड, इफ वी टेक पॉइंट C, यस, पॉइंट C कौन सा है -10, यस, अगर C को मैं ओरिजिन से कनेक्ट करता हूं CO, ये OX है और ये CO है. ओके, तो एंगल सबटेंडेड एट द सेंटर विल बी पाई 180 डिग्री. या पॉइंट C -10 विच सबटेंड्स एंगल पाई radian at the center. Okay, now at the center of the circle, no problem. Okay, now C point का x कोऑर्डिनेट यानी C ने ओरिजिन पे या उसके सेंटर पे जो एंगल सबटेंड किया है उसका cos, यहाँ पे कितना एंगल सबटेंड किया है पाई, दैट मीन्स यहाँ पे C का x कोऑर्डिनेट क्या है -1. तो -1 क्या होगा, तो कि cos पाई इज इक्वल टू -1 एंड sin पाई इज इक्वल टू 0. Similarly we can, similarly for point D 0 -1, yes, D 0 -1, यहाँ पे अगर मैं इसको कनेक्ट करता हूं ये ओके, और ये x एक्सिस है, तो ये पूरा एंगल सबटेंडेड एट द सेंटर बिकॉज इट्स आवर रोटेशन इज इन एंटी क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन. तो पूरा जो एंगल सबटेंड किया है वो क्या होगा 3 पाई बाय 2. और डेफिनेशन के हिसाब से यहाँ तो जो हमने आगे साइन और कॉस जनरलाइज वे में देखा है उस हिसाब से डी पॉइंट का एक्स कोऑर्डिनेट वो रिप्रेजेंट करेगा जो एंगल डी के द्वारा इसके सेंटर पे सब्सटेंड किया होगा उसका कॉस. डी कितना एंगल सब्सटेंड कर रहा है, तो कि 3 पाई बाय 2. तो यहां पे हम लिख पाएंगे कॉस 3 पाई बाय 2 इज इक्वल्स टू, इसका एक्स कोऑर्डिनेट क्या है 0 एंड साइन 3 पाई बाय 2 इज इक्वल्स टू -1. ओके, और लास्ट वाला जो मैं यहां पे लिखता हूं जो आप देख सकोगे, अदरवाइज यहाँ पे नहीं दिखाई देगा. ओके, फिफ्थ यानी पूरा एक राउंड घूमोगे, पूरा एक रिवोल्यूशन करेंगे, अगेन पॉइंट ए पे मैं वापस आता हूं, तो वो अगेन एट पॉइंट A10 आफ्टर रिवॉल्विंग after having one revolution. ओके तो यहाँ पे कितना एंगल सबटेंड होगा 2 पाई. अगेन पॉइंट ए पे ही आ रहा है. ओके 0 बोलो या तो 2 पाई बोलो, दोनों का सेम ही पॉइंट वही उसी पॉइंट पर वापस आए, बिकॉज एक पूरे रिवोल्यूशन के बाद वो उसी पॉइंट पर वापस आता है. एक रिवोल्यूशन के लिए 2 पाई रेडियन होता है, तो यहाँ पे ए का 1 और 0 है. दैट मीन्स ए 2 पाई रेडियंस वो सेंटर के आगे सबटेंड करता है, तो cos 2 pi is equals to 1 and sin 2 pi is equals to 0. So we can see here that we can define cos and sin for any value of an angle, for any real value of an angle. Okay, just हम अभी तक जो टेंस में पढ़ते थे वो हम ऐसा ही समझते थे, या यही तक यहाँ तक ही पढ़ते थे, बिकॉज हमारे सिलेबस में वही होता है कि साइन और कॉस हम एक्यूट एंगल के लिए डिफाइन करते थे. 0 स्टैंडर्ड जो एंगल या कॉमन एंगल्स जिसको कहते हैं 0 डिग्री, 30 डिग्री, 45 डिग्री, 60 डिग्री, 90 डिग्री, उसके साइन कॉस टेन सेक कोसेक हम पढ़े भी थे. ओके नाउ हमने जस्ट जो ट्रिग्नोमेट्रिक फंक्शन यानी जनरलाइज फॉर्म में कोई भी क्वांटिटी या जो कोई भी मैथमेटिकल एक्सप्रेशन इन जनरलाइज फॉर्म में उसको फंक्शन कहा जाता है, वो हम सेकंड चैप्टर में पढ़ेंगे. बट फॉर ट्रिग्नोमेट्रिक फंक्शंस के लिए हम ट्रिग्नोमेट्री यहाँ पे जनरलाइज टर्म में, यानी कि ट्रिग्नोमेट्रिक जो रेशियोस है वो सिर्फ एक्यूट एंगल के लिए नहीं बट किसी भी एंगल के लिए हम डिफाइन कर सके, उसके लिए हमको स्टार्ट करना है. और उसके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट क्या है तो कि यूनिट सर्कल का कंसेप्ट आपको ध्यान रखना है. ये जो फिगर मैंने ड्रॉ की है और इस फिगर में जो पॉइंट मैंने पॉइंट्स या तो जो भी नोट किया है वो आपको हमेशा याद रखना है. ये आपको जब कभी भी ट्रिग्नोमेट्री का आएगा तब आपको ये दिमाग में आपको फ्लैश सामने आ जाना चाहिए. जब कभी भी ट्रिग्नोमेट्री का इन जनरल वे में पढ़ना होगा तो तब आपको ये यूनिट सर्कल का जो फिगर है वो आपके आंखों के सामने आ जाना चाहिए. उसके ऊपर से आपको हम बहुत सारी इंफॉर्मेशन डिराइव भी करेंगे. ये तो जस्ट बिगिनिंग है. यस हमने यहाँ पे इसके बाद जो भी स्टार्ट किया ये cos पाई बाय 2 ये 90 डिग्री, उसके बाद हमने 180 के डिग्री के लिए भी साइन और cos डिफाइन किया. 270 दैट इज 3 पाई बाय 2 के लिए भी साइन और cos डिफाइन किया और 360 के लिए भी cos और साइन डिफाइन किया. इस तरह से हम किसी भी वैल्यू, कोई भी रेडियन की वैल्यू रियल नंबर के लिए, इवन फॉर 100 पाई और 1000 पाई कोई भी रेडियन वैल्यूज होगा उसके लिए हम ट्रिग्नोमेट्रिक फंक्शंस की वैल्यू, cos और sin की वैल्यू हम इस तरह से डिराइव कर पाएंगे. दैट वी विल सी फर्दर. बट राइट नाउ फॉर वन कंप्लीट रिवोल्यूशन वी हैव डिराइव्ड द वैल्यूज. दैट मींस 0 to 360 के लिए जो हमारे पास 10 तक 0 to 90 तक था वो अब हमने यहाँ पे 0 to 360 या तो 0 to 2 पाई के लिए cos और sin की वैल्यूज यहाँ पे हमने ये डिराइव की है या तो एस्टैब्लिश की है. ये याद रखना है, ये चार्ट याद रखना है और ये वैल्यूज जो एसोसिएटेड है वो क्या cos और sin रिप्रेजेंट करती है वो आपको ध्यान रखना है. इसके ऊपर से हम नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में थोड़ा आगे बढ़ेंगे. यस वहां पे भी हम ये यूनिट सर्कल का यूज करेंगे और यूनिट सर्कल के ऑब्जर्वेशन के ऊपर से हम बहुत सारी चीजें एस्टैब्लिश करेंगे इन अ जनरल वे. सो आज का लेक्चर यहीं तक. नेक्स्ट लेक्चर वी विल कंटिन्यू. ओके थैंक यू. बट बिफोर कंक्लूडिंग दिस lecture, I am again advising you to remember this. Okay, it's not a kind of a remembrance, but you will have to understand this figure and you will have to keep this figure in front of your eyes for learning trigonometric function in generalized way. And just whatever I have written, you can just understand from all these things, and all these trigonometric values for more than 90 degrees we have derived from this knot only. So if you are not getting anything, if you have any doubts, you can call me, no problem, or you can message me. Okay, thank you.